So if you're an artist who's just starting out and you're kind of getting overwhelmed or you're finding it very difficult to stay motivated these days, then trust me, you're not alone. So that's actually why I put together this series of my channel where I'll be interviewing up and coming actors, writers, directors, and many more who have inspired me, and hopefully together we can inspire you as well. So if you'd like an extra dose of motivation during your week, please make sure you subscribe below. I'd love to have you part of the community. And hey, you know, when you're a small YouTuber, any extra subscriber really keeps me motivated. So I would really appreciate that. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into today's interview. My guest today is Angad Ohri. We met in college, and he's a professional actor currently working in the theater scene in New Delhi. All right, Angad, thank you for being here. How you doing?
Hey Max, thanks for having me. I'm doing well. Just a nice Sunday morning over here.
It's Sunday morning. What have you been up to this weekend so far?
It's been a little casual, but rehearsing for a new play, reading a few books, and yeah, I'll just see how it goes from here on.
Well, that's perfect. That's staying productive, and that's exactly the kind of thing that we're doing this interview for. So that people know, you and I, we met in college, and we started working together. You're the first collaboration that I had. I was a filmmaker when I came into college, and I decided to make my first feature-length film with you as the lead. And it's called Heart of Ice. So I'm going to put probably a couple clips over the screen so that people can get a couple quick looks at what the vibe of the film was. But it was a film noir, and the whole step of the way, you were basically the cheerleader of the movie. It's easy for a lot of people to kind of look at a 21-year-old trying to do his first feature film and be like, dude, come on, don't waste your time. Why don't you just focus on short films or something? But you were like, no, dude, we're going to do this. We're going to make it happen. And you've always really impressed me and inspired me with your energy and with your passion. Have you ever had a moment where you really didn't feel motivated to keep going? Because it can be very hard to sort of constantly, in this type of business where there's constant rejection, constant failure, how do you keep motivated to kind of keep going, you know, and keep that momentum?
Of course, the answer is that feeling of not being motivated. That happens a lot of the time, a lot. And I think I said, I mean, if life was perfect, I would have made it in 2015. And I made it, I mean, just that image of success, it's not as much about making it. It's about consistent work. Now, there'll be work that gives you the image of whatever success you feel is there. And there's work that won't, but at the end of the day, I wanted to do something I wanted to wake up for the next day. So it's what helps me sleep peacefully at night, or what helps me wake up energetically the next day. And that is the profession you work in.
Yeah.
So there will be down days, and there'll be days where you feel very chirpy, but I think that's just part of the process. And just to continue on that, after I left Los Angeles in 2017, I came back to India. And then I thought, okay, now college is one thing, and now I'm entering the professional world.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting who I work with, I'm currently working with right now. I met a director called Faisal Al-Qazi. So he ran the Ruchka Theatre Group, which has been running for around 40 years now. One of the very prominent groups in India. And I remember I met him for a meeting. He agreed to see me. And all he said was, yep, we're doing a reading for a script. Show up on Sunday. And I just thought, you know, usually expect these things to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't offered a part. And I had an idea. I was just told to come read in for the script. So I was basically production assistant, setting up the stage, cleaning it up. And that was my first foray into the professional, arts world, where you have to start from the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And take whatever chances you can, because in the beginning, it's all about accumulating information. And then after that, in March, without knowing, I was just handed a script for a play called The Gathered Leaves by Andrew Keatley. And I remember, I think it was May 8th, 2018. That was our first show. Full house.
Right.
And then this is the first time I was thinking that this is a paying audience.
Yeah.
And then when the show happened, it went magnificently. Again, for the first show, you're thinking this is going magnificently. And there was applause afterwards. That's when I knew that, okay, if this is the upside of it, and just seeing the reactions after that, that helps to to almost combat the low point.
Yeah.
Because when the low points happen, there are always moments where you know that, no, I've done this. Once you've seen something good happen, you know you can
Yeah.
work yourself to make it happen again.
Right, absolutely. No, that's actually that's beautiful, man. Because I think that's kind of the plight of all artists, right? Like you have so much struggle and sometimes it can feel like just trudging through mud because there's so much rejection and it's a slow moving process. But once you hit those peaks, you wouldn't trade that for the world, you know? And I just kind of want to reiterate that for the audience listening, is that when you have those moments where you feel low and where you feel like you don't know if there is an end in sight or if there's a silver lining, always remember that what the silver lining is, that once you achieve that success, you're going to feel better than you've ever felt. And I can only imagine how you felt when you received for the first time those applause, you know, from the audience. And when you're in that moment where you want to be an actor, but now you're cleaning up backstage, you know, you're basically a production assistant. Was there ever any point where you were jealous or envious of the actors who were on stage?
Oh, not at all, not at all.
Okay,
Because
good.
that's another thing, at least with this theater group, it was when an actor wasn't there, I was literally filling in for them, but I was also being directed at the same time. And over time, you just realize that this is also your test. Are you just going to read out the lines, or are you going to give me something to work with eventually? But at the same time, not ruining the flow of the other actors. I think in the arts, that's another misconception, which even most people have, whether you're in any form of the arts, it's that it's a solo game. No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's all a
absolutely.
team sport. It's a collaborative effort. You know, a film is not made
Yeah,
by one person, made by a group of people. So
yeah.
it's about gelling with the environment that will help you proceed. Like you can't do it alone.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And that, you know, it's so easy, at least especially in the arts, to feel like it is a solo game because there is so much competition. And what I have seen, and you know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't guilty of it at times. Once you see other people succeeding, sometimes you can't help but have this feeling in your gut where you have this kind of this envy growing, and that's not a healthy mindset. Because I then remember listening to this video. I'll probably try to link it in the description. Is by Mel Robbins, who's a really inspirational speaker, and she has a YouTube channel. And she said something that really kind of changed my perspective. That kind of speaks to exactly what you're saying. When I found myself being envious of somebody, I literally Googled how to not feel envy because I hated that feeling. And what she said was, envy means that you think that somebody else's success, for whatever reason, will impact the ability of you achieving your success. And what's really important to understand in life is that somebody else's success does not dictate what's going to happen to your success. So you just have to start learning being happy for other people, because everybody will achieve what they will achieve. And it's not because somebody got a role that you're no longer going to be a successful actor. That's not the case. And that's why I love that you said this is a collaborative experience. You have to support other people, and then other people in return will support you, right? If you give off this jealous vibe and you're like, oh man, screw that guy, I should be on stage, you know, nobody's going to want to work with you. So when you were saying, you know, it's about, you know, not interfering with the workflow of others, and just making yourself available and making yourself available for any opportunity that arises, and working with other people and embracing that collaborative experience, I think is a great way of keeping your healthy mindset as an actor as we embark on this extremely competitive and very arduous
I
work.
have 3 points for how to handle envy.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one, it is if someone around you gets a part or gets an opportunity which you also want,
Yeah.
just remember you weren't the second place person. You weren't in second place. It's not like you were. I have realized this. So every time if I'm around someone, they get a part, or I'm not envious. I just know that if I got the part, he or she, they weren't the second in line.
Second place.
And
Right,
because they
right,
have the
absolutely.
part, that doesn't mean I'm second in line. That means there was a group of other people who fit that category. So I was probably
Totally.
100 still. So it's all
Right.
about the criterion. That's number one. So just remember, if you don't get
that.
something, you're most probably not second in line.
Sure, definitely.
Now, this is the second thing. There was an interview on The Breakfast Club by Charlemagne on YouTube. And so they interview various artists in the music industry and actors and writers. And there was an interview with Samuel L. Jackson. I think a similar question was asked, and he said, "So he was at a theater. He was working in New York City with Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes, Forrest Whitaker." And he said, "The thing is, I was around people who were getting work, so I thought eventually I will get work. We're doing a play, Denzel gets a part. We're doing another play, then Forrest gets a part. We're doing another play, Wesley gets a part. So eventually I knew my time would come. And eventually your time would come, as long as he's working. So it's not like he was just around it. He was in plays with them, and he was just, to see people around you get success that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's my third point, which is better to be around people who are making it while you're trying to make it. Because there's one thing to see people, sorry, I'm using that word make it, but what I mean by make it is for the opportunity that will progress them to the next level. And then, of course, there are a million levels after that.
Totally.
And so I've been around actors, and they've got parts. I'm in Netflix films and I'm in Amazon series. And for me, it's simply a case of, so I'm around people getting work. So I need to work a little harder to get it myself. Because it's one thing to see someone at least for me, on a series or film, and I don't know them. But when I do know them, or if I'm around them, then I see a path.
Totally.
So it's better to be around people getting work so you can see the path.
Yeah. It's also more inspiring too, right?
Absolutely.
Like there was a great line we were talking about one of our inspirations was Quentin Tarantino, and there was a great line of his, I don't know if you've heard it, where he was talking about his days when he was working in the video store. And he said at the time, he felt like he was being very productive because everybody else around him was doing nothing. So it's very easy to feel productive when you're around people who aren't being productive. But he said, ultimately, what I was a big fish in a puddle. Yes. And if you want to make it to the next level, you need to surround yourself by people who are at a higher level than you're at. Because by surrounding yourself with those people, sure, you might feel like you're last in line, but it's like running a race. If you run against people that are slower and you're faster, you're not going to work harder because you always feel like you're winning. However, if you're now the slowest of the fast pack, you're going to work hard and work harder and work harder. And you might still be last in line, but your time will be better. And that's the same thing. And he said that's the same thing with filmmaking. And it's the same thing with acting. If you surround yourself by people who are actively working hard, pursuing roles, auditioning, booking roles, you can't help but be motivated by that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will always be moments which can last for a few months, actually, where there's nothing happening.
Of course.
That's just part of, at least in the initial stages.
And dude, this is the other thing that I love about the arts, is that it's the only genre of work where your life can literally change from 1 week to the next.
No,
drastically. You know, like in a steady job, you'll know if you do this, you'll get a promotion at this point, and then after that, your next promotion is this, and you know what the ladder looks like. So you know how to prepare for it, you know what to plan for, and it's pretty, straightforward in a sense. Obviously, it's still very hard work, but in acting, you can be nothing for so long, living off of couches, not being able to pay rent, and then the next week you audition for like a Star Wars, and in the case of Harrison Ford, you get Han Solo, and then your life just changes like that.
Like I said, it's a consistency game, and you have to think long term. Like I said, it's not the end game, it's about the infinite game. There's a concept that I saw a video of recently, and that's the only way. It's not about winning, it's about getting work.
Yeah, totally.
You think about it like that, and of course, putting your best foot forward.
Yeah,
And yeah, and that's how. For example, I'll just say something regarding now. COVID has definitely affected everyone across the world. It's a very
sure.
scary, dangerous time. You know,
Yeah,
not nobody could have predicted it. Now we're
totally.
approaching a year now.
Yeah.
So as an actor, once you lose, we work in public settings.
Totally.
You can't really be performing in masks unless the play is about a hospital.
Sure.
Yeah, where it can make sense because most of the plays. I mean, I was doing A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. You can't have, you just can't do it. It was such a large cast as well, and for the safety of the cast and the audience members, we had to just shut everything down. And then my theater group and my director Faisal Al-Ghazi, he had a brilliant initiative where he decided to use this medium we're using right now, Zoom.
Yeah.
And a Zoom production is that middle ground between a theater production and a film, which is more difficult because it's as if shooting your entire film in one shot.
Right, totally.
No cuts, nothing. And people are in different parts of the country sometimes.
Sure.
And then we decided there's some plays that are better done with the close-up, which as we're speaking to each other right now, in these type of shots. And we've been getting fantastic audiences. We put it online, and it's just been a fantastic experience. And also, this is not the comfort zone to work in.
Right, totally, absolutely.
That's another thing, is we all have to be adaptable. In this situation, there's a pandemic, and this is what we did, not just to, of course, just to, keep our skills up, to, keep it refreshed, but then just to see that there can be an audience as long as you're working. And now this, for me, this year, we're doing the play Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov. And
very cool.
It's going to run for 4 weeks, an act a week. And I would just like to invite everyone who is watching this. We will be performing next Friday at 7 at IST. That will be, and I believe that will be 5:30 a.m. PST. So if you're up or if you can't sleep, please watch the show. We'll be performing over 4 weeks. And then we'll be posting our shows up onto Facebook on the page Ruchika Theatre Group, which I will also send the link.
Brilliant, perfect. Yeah, no, and I'll definitely send me the link, and I'll link it in the description of the video, so that people can come check it out. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you probably have a busy day.
Anytime, my friend, anytime. And let's do this again. Let's definitely do this again.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it. We'll schedule it. But anyway, thanks so much, man, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, so there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe below. And if there's anything that Angad said that particularly resonated with you guys, please make sure you comment it. I would love to start a little discussion chain in the comments down below. I'll definitely respond to every single one of you guys. And also, if you are interested, I'll be linking Angad's Chekhov performance in the description. So definitely support him and go check it out. He's a phenomenal actor. I've loved working with him every step of the way, and I look forward to more work from him. So anyway, that's it for today, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy during these crazy times. Have a good one, guys.